Hi Thomas, hope you're well. Just wondering, any team news ahead of tomorrow's game?
Um, Everyone ready for the Fulham squad is ready for Newcastle tomorrow.
And you were very strong after the Fulham match about the booing directed at your goalkeeper. Having had a day to reflect on that, what is your message to the supporters now ahead of tomorrow's game?
Um, that we, as I said after the game, completely, understand the frustration that if we don't win, there will always be a frustration. So that's normal. It's part of it, and also when we haven't won as much as we won at home, not only this year but also the last long period. I don't know how long that is. Maybe years, maybe more. So of course, then the frustration maybe can grow a little bit more. So that's understandable. It's my job to do what I can to make sure we are calm and look at the things in a way where we split things up in terms of performance, what is impacting in how we try to do to build the team. Um, so yeah, I think that's part of it, and we would like to do. As we are nothing without the fans. This club, no club is anything without the fans. Tottenham Hotspur, we are nothing without our fantastic fans. Nothing. So we need each other. We want them. There's nothing we want more than making them happy in every way. And my point was that during matches, that's where we need each other. After, fair with the booing, but during, that's where I want to create a fortress. I think some of you guys probably have a even more, how can I say, up-to-date stat in terms of how many games we won or lost or draw the last couple of years. But if any club want to be successful, you need to create a fortress. If you want to create a fortress, it can only be together, fans, team. My job is to make sure that we do everything we can to perform, but can we do that together? That's where you create a very difficult place to play. Yeah.
And you mentioned results then not really going your way in the last week or so. You've often spoken about staying calm during those difficult spells. What's the message to the players? How are you keeping them calm?
We of course have meetings yesterday and today, and yesterday of course like normal debriefing the Fulham game, and today looking more forward to Newcastle. There'll be some meetings tomorrow. I said from the beginning we want to build something sustainable that can compete in all tournaments, and we have a squad that is learning to learn from last year, playing Premier League and Europa League, going into this year where we're playing in the Champions League, and I want to do well in Premier League. That competing on both fronts, that's something that takes some time to learn physically and mentally. We're searching to find the right formula that will click, while we have to rotate some players to keep freshness, keep the intensity high, look a little bit at how can I say, injury risk and stuff like that. As a good example, this period we're in now, we play four fantastic games with in 10 days times. So there's two and 2 days between the games as the only of the 5 Champions League clubs. Probably fair to say, probably with a squad that is not as used to it as the others. No problem. That's just why we are learning along the way. And we also had a spell early in the season. I think it was Everton. Was it Newcastle as well? Chelsea and Copenhagen. Ours was also 2-2-2. It was only us and Arsenal that had that. So that just the fact is, if you have 2 days between times, it's just more complicated. It's not impossible. We still need to perform. We still need to win matches. It's just facts.
And you've mentioned over the past couple of weeks as well about different players for different games. I know you get asked it a lot, but what does Xavi Simons need to show you to earn a few more minutes, and can we expect to see him starting tomorrow or in this busy period?
Of course, there's a reason why we got Xavi here. I think he's a very good player in every aspect. Xavi have trained well the last couple of days, and in general training well. And I think also that, I think we talked about before, it's not the first time a player is stepping into the Premier League, and that just need a little bit of adaptation to hit the ground running, and then that's one thing in the physical league, but also to play games every third or fourth day, and then in a team that's maybe not top in sync. So how can we help each other? That's part of the process.
Hi Thomas, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
A couple of questions about Newcastle, please. First of all, how impressive have you been with them, their performances against Man City, against Everton recently, and obviously the timing of facing them tomorrow away from home?
No, Newcastle are good. I think they've been good for a long time since Eddie Howe took over. I said that before. Admire Eddie and his coaching staff and everything they do massively. They're a very intense team, very aggressive, and speaking about having a good home record and a good that's a difficult place to go to. Everyone knows that. I think they won the last 6 home games, so perfect timing. So good, but not unbeatable.
And a specific question about Nick Woltemade. How impressed have you been with his ability to adapt into the demands of the Premier League and to step into the very big shoes of Alexander Isak?
Yeah, definitely. They're 2 different players, but Nick Woltemade had done very well. He got the physicality, but also I think he offers something different. He's also good to drop down to link the game for them. That's why he offers something a little bit different. I think the way he attacked the box, I think he does that very well, finding good positions.
I can ask you about your goalkeeper Vicario, but more from a positive perspective.
Yeah.
We see players in the past, when they make big mistake, they try not to go and speak to the media, maybe to hide a little bit. With him, it's the other way around. After the Fulham game, he spoke to the media. He put in a statement as well on social media. How much it shows about Vicario's personality, his character, and how important he is as a leader in your dressing room?
Vic is remarkable. His character is fantastic in every aspect. I think it's about how you carry yourself every day, in good times and bad times, and he's very consistent in that way. I think everyone knows that everyone makes mistakes. Sometimes on the football pitch, outside football, or whatever we do. But the way he carried himself, that impressed me very much. And his, I think, also responds to setbacks and also mistakes. I think he does that, very well.
Hi Thomas, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. And you?
Very well. In terms of fans booing, I understand what you're saying, wait to the end, but some fans don't stay to the end of the game, and some fans want to let the players know what they're feeling, how they're feeling, and when they're feeling it, maybe during a game. Should everybody not be allowed their opinion whenever they want?
Yes, just like I'm allowed my opinion wherever I want. So I think it's fair. I'm just saying what I think. I'm like, can't say it enough. We have some fantastic fans. We're nothing without the fans. We need them, every aspect, and they are very much allowed to be disappointed. No problem. I'm just saying, when you play a match at home, it is not as helpful as it is when they can see they're driving the team forward, for example. And of course, it's up to us to do everything we can to perform. So it's just going hand in hand. But the beautiful thing about football and life is never straightforward.
And I know you don't read social media, but Pedro Porro posted on social media about Saturday and the
that one I read because my good friend over here sent it to me.
Okay.
He said it was probably a good idea to read that before I went into the beautiful day with you guys here.
So what did you think of it, and do you think he should have posted that?
Second, what do I think
What
about
did you think of his social media, and should he have done it?
I think it's fair, when I think it's fair in that sense. Again, the players, they are individual people that they can have their own opinions, and I think he was. I think what he put out there was fair in every aspect.
Finally, you know how fickle football is. You go and win at Newcastle, go and win at the weekend. Suddenly, you're the greatest manager this football club's ever had. It's the greatest set of players this club's ever had. Lose them both, and the opposite is true. So how do you stay calm? How do you not let things boil over? I know you've got the 24-hour rule, but in terms of with you and with your players, how do you try and keep things now on an even keel, or what is a difficult point?
I think it's how can I say? I think we of course searching to not so to how can I say find the winning formula, because it's, let's say it's 3 different games we played. We played away to Arsenal. That was a bad performance. Away to Paris, that was a good performance. We lost both, and then we play a freak game against Fulham where we down 2-0 after 6 minutes. So, but especially in the PSG and especially in the Fulham, there was some good performances. It's all about keep going back to that, keep going back to what we can affect, the processes, how we train, the principles, and then keep the energy with the players, or for the players, and then go again. That's the only way out of it. Of course, it's in a tough period. It's easier when you win, but when you don't, you need to do the same. Thank you.
Hi there, Thomas. You said after the game that you would speak to Vic afterwards. I just wondered, how did that go? And kind of in general, how do you speak to someone that's experienced what he went through?
Yeah, I spoke with him after the game, and I said, "Yeah, how are you?" And he said he was okay. You can say there's different types. I think Vic is a relatively, how can you say, good player to deal with setbacks like that and move forward. Others maybe would have hit harder. Also think if you are a goalkeeper, unfortunately, I don't think there's any goalkeeper in the world except, and I can say that because I know Peter Schmeichel that never thought he made a mistake, but probably did sometimes. But that can also be a way of dealing with it. But you know you make mistakes, and how you deal with that is a big part of how good you become as, let's say, a goalkeeper, but also actually as a player.
You mentioned that just there about Vic then going out in the next action and getting the ball and clearing it that time, showing that strength of character. I mean, you want your players to take risks. How important is it that they feel that they can make mistakes and not suffer a reaction like that?
I think it's hugely important, because every game, every player make small mistakes. There can be a bad clear. Some can be the crucial goal-defining mistakes that everyone can see, but there's always small mistakes in the game where you lose the ball, where you miss a touch, where you miss a clearance, where you miss a 1v1, and you sometimes don't get punished well enough. But how can you keep going no matter what in a game?
You and Pedro both use the same expression about true Spurs fans. I think you said they're not true Spurs fans if they do that, and Pedro said he loves the true Spurs fans. Have you got any kind of fear that might fire up fans even more, those frustrated to kind of being told maybe they're not true Spurs fans?
I don't know. And you can say, how do you define a true Spurs fan? I think all the fantastic fans we have believe they're true Spurs fans. Some react in one way, some react in another, someone a little bit in between. No matter what, we need all of them.
Hi, Thomas. I think you mentioned earlier about having 4 games in 10 days, and it's the second time that's happened. How much does that impact what you and the coaching staff can sort of teach the players about what you're trying to do?
Yeah, of course, extremely. And even if you have that extra day, that's just give you a day more to recover. But of course, with 2-2-2, it's very limited what you can coach and how many meetings and how much individual time you can have with the players, because it's just pure recovery as well. But again, it's just the way it is. We need to find a way. I think the more bits it also impact is that if you want to kind of find a little bit of a how can you say, I think every good teams they found out they have 7, 8, 9 players that plays when it's the top matches, if that makes sense. And that, of course, we're searching to find what is the thing that can click, and that's we can't do it all the time, because we also need to rotate to make sure we have enough intensity and freshness.
That does make sense, thank you. You've obviously used different tactical approaches this season. Is the long-term plan to eventually settle and focus and develop one particular system?
For me, it's always the guiding principles that is the most important thing. How we build up. If it's, what do we do when we split centre backs? What do we do? We have a sitter, 2 sitters. What do we do with the position in front of that? And how do we attack with play and run on the side? how do we press, and that will always more or less be the same, no matter if you play a 4-3-1, 4-4-2, 4-3-3, 3-4-3, whatever. So there's always the guiding principles is about how you can get the best players on the pitch that make the teams the best way.
The defence was obviously a really important area for you to improve when you first took over, and at the beginning of the season it looked really well. I think that's 13 goals conceded in the last 4 games. Is there anything you've noticed why it's maybe not looking as good at the moment, the defence?
You can say the 4 goals you conceded against Man United and Fulham is some of the goals I would like to avoid a bit more. Also those 2 games, if you can see at the actual amount of shot we conceded, I think we conceded 5 shots and 7 shots. It's very low. If you can see the XG, you can see those games are very low. So the other stats behind it was good, and then there's 2 other results where we conceded too much against 2, unfortunately, 2 of the best teams in the world.
Finish this section with George, please.
Hi, Thomas. How do sort of yourself and the players kind of mend this relationship with the fans? It feels kind of a real sort of tipping point now, where you do need them, but you feel like it also feels like you've kind of lost a lot of them, yourself and the players.
I think if we will go into every game, I'm pretty sure every fan wants to win and wants to support and wants to do everything. And then, if not going to plan, then maybe some get more frustrated than others. And again, I think there's always some that shout louder than others. So I don't think fans, when you say you lose the fans, how many is that? 5%, 10%, 15, 20? How much is it? I don't know. We would like to get all 100% on board. And there's only, there's 2 things we can do. We can perform and keep connect.
And would you kind of consider sort of speaking to fan groups, or you see in different countries kind of the players talk to fans sort of after a game? It's not very common in England, but would you kind of consider stuff like that to try and mend this relationship?
I'll consider a lot of things that I don't know. I think there's two ways. That's performing and connecting. And connecting is a lot of things. I, in general, always believe in dialogue, but we are privileged. We have a lot of fans, so there'll be a lot we need to reach out to.
That mood, that atmosphere in the stadium is one of the reasons why your home form's so
poor. I think mainly is on the pitch. We need to improve. It's mainly there. We need to perform, and we need to, no matter what the mood is, find a good structure and calmness and do the right thing throughout 90 minutes. I think there is a reason why some, how can you say, home grounds are more, how can you say, successful for whatever reason. Because there's also that part of we can be pushed forward, which I definitely feel we do a lot of times. So the more we can do that as well, the better.
Do you feel that any of the players are afraid to do certain things or become or confidence drains quickly because of?
But I think also now it's like with everything, sometimes a narrative can be truth, sometimes it can not be true. But there's a narrative out there and there's a lot of talk. There's facts, by the way. We haven't won that many times at home, so that I can't run away from. But also, I don't think the can say relationship with the fans is that bad. If it's like the big talk of the town. So every game we go out there, I definitely feel the fans is behind us, and we keep going. Of course, last game was I think everyone was a little bit shell-shocked in the stadium, from players to me, to the fans, 6 minutes down. We all believe that now let's come out flying against a team that we respect, but we, on a good day, had a very good chance to beat.
Is there anything to be gained by taking Vic out of the firing line?
In what way, sorry?
Leaving him out?
Leave him out? No, not for me. I don't know, he made one mistake, so, yeah. Hi.
You started slowly in terms of results at Bromby and Brentford before turning things around there. Obviously, all managers need time when they come into the clubs, but what is it maybe about your teams in particular that take a bit of time to adapt to your method?
Good question. least I didn't. I started a little bit better here the first 8 games or 10 games than I did in the two other clubs, which is probably good. Yeah, I think there could be different reasons for that. I think when I took over in Brøndby, it was a completely new start. The club was close to get relegated the year before, even was a big club. And bankrupt, so we started more or less from scratch. So that was built into it. Where I think we didn't win in 8, and then we was unbeaten in 9. Brentford the same. We lost 8 out of 10, and then we were unbeaten in 10. Now it's a little bit the other way around. I just know that I build consistency and I build competitiveness and culture, and that will always take a bit of time. And the big thing here, we want to build it while we need to compete every single week, 3 times a week or 2 times a week, depending on how you see it. Yeah, it's natural.
Do you feel under more pressure now in this situation than you did in those starts of those 2 clubs?
In a way, I got more experience, so I know what's needed. You can say the first job in Brøndby was my first senior job in a massive club in Denmark with massive exposure. I would say, if anything, a little less. But of course, I know there is, how can you say, pressure or attention or that we need to win.
And there's been a lot of talk this season about being a new era in terms of the ownership and being sort of ambitious and demanding success. Are you confident they'll be patient and give you that time?
Yeah, I'm very confident. I think the ownership seems like, of course, I just starting to know them, but seems like good guys, intelligent people, know how to run business, learning about football, learning more about how they become owners. And I think when we're dealing with intelligent people, they can see every successful, dynasty, every successful club is taking time. Don't have one showcase. Yeah, you have one where you maybe win 1 year or the second year, but you can't sustain it if you don't build something sustainable. Impossible.
From afar, it looks like you've left an environment at Brentford that's really sensible and pragmatic, and everyone kind of is on board with that and understands it. When it comes to Spurs, which is a much more emotional club, certainly within the fan base, but probably to an extent inside the building too. Do you have that feeling that there's this big difference now in what you have to think about and those emotions you have to manage compared to what you've done in your career before?
Yeah. This is more of on another scale, of course, but more like my first job in Brøndby. Just you compare some of it. Where, as you say, Brentford was in a different way. No doubt about that. And you can say it's always a challenge when there's big expectations, and no problem with the big expectation if you also have how can you say, earn the right to really compete to the big expectations, which I think is fair to say we haven't done. As I said it, I think then I started, we haven't been able to compete in a cup tournament and Europe and Premier League in the last 6 years. And now we're just coming on the back of a season where we finished 17th and we did fantastic and won the Europa League. Now we want to compete both places, so which is natural. Will take a little bit of time without the normal four front players that scored basically all the goals. So that no problem. It's just the way it is. We will get there. I'm not in doubt of that. Not in doubt.
You're a manager at a big club with a lot of players to manage, a huge amount of change. You've got a lot on your plate all the time. Do you not kind of feel like you've got enough to deal with before worrying about your own fans, building your own players, and then getting grilled by Austin in the press conference?
It's a short answer, yes. I think the more I can spend time on the players and figure out all the small tweaks we can do to be bit by bit more and more competitive, the better it will be. But hey, it's part of it. I would not even say unfortunately. I'm enjoying these press conferences, but I have, of course, to meet up here, and that's part of it. And the fans, it is start or end saying with what I start saying. We're nothing without the fans.
I guess it's just there are more things to drain you here than perhaps before.
Yeah. I think that's fair. And then I think that's linked with your stepping into a new club. You get to know new players, staff, and how do you know them before you need to invest time in them. And then of course with the program, that's of course training as well. But hey, that's part of it. That's why I took the job.
John, can I just clarify the remarks about you made after the match? Just said everything wrong. Overall, you don't boo during the match. Seems sensible, statesmanlike, diplomatic. It's just the not true fans bit seems the opposite of that. It seems confrontational and controversial. Are you standing by that?
I think is what I'm standing by. What I think when I said the not true Spurs fan, I am 100% not convinced that I meant with that, just to make it to make it clear, was almost a mocking of one of their own players. So he makes a mistake. I think there's a little bit of booing after that without me, as I remember it. You probably have seen him after. I think the next ball he clears, there's like a cheering. You can't do that. The opponents can do that. Can't do that as a fan. So in that sense, that's where I would stand by that quote. I said that. The booing during, I don't think it's helpful, but we're all different. That's what I mean by it.
It also seems that the players decided not to clap the fans after the game. Are you happy with that? Are you going to instruct them to do that, or are you going to let them do what they feel is right?
I think, again, it's important that we connect with the fans. I think it's pretty obvious that away from home we go to the away fans and thank for the traveling and support. And I think also is pretty, maybe it's not as consistent. That was maybe not as many that clapped after the game, but I still saw a few. I myself did it as well. So sometimes that can be emotional, whatever. But I will always say that clap the fans after the game. Maybe don't have to do the big loop, but yeah.
So there's a specific instruction you will.
There's not a specific instruction. That's what I would recommend.
Yeah. I mean, what have you said to the players about this relationship? So they had a meeting after the Chelsea game, which was. You're in the middle of all this. It's not you're doing it.
Yeah, and that's fair. That's why I'm sitting here. I think as to make it clear, I'm always a little bit surprised at how things can get out of a meeting inside the club. That's always a little bit okay. But you guys are doing a good job because it's not coming out if you guys are not doing a good job. So well done for that. I actually mean that, it's not ironically. But we didn't have a meeting about the fans. We had a debrief after the game about the game as we do all the time, and it was pretty evident after that game. That was the first time there was a little bit of talk about fans and relationship and all that. So we had to talk about that, which is natural.
Newcastle, ideal away game because you have to be a true fan to go.
True, definitely. I don't think there's any ideal game. I think the next one is always an opportunity to turn things around with a good performance and hopefully 3 points. You're welcome.
Please. Thomas, does it surprise you how much scrutiny there is on your words and all the reactions that you have to any sort of incident? And does it show this kind of one of the biggest challenges you've ever faced?
Surprised me, I don't know. I knew when, of course, you don't know to what extent or how it would be or whatever. I just, of course, knew that there would be a lot of scrutiny and focus on small details, wording that way or that way. But yeah, I'm also a bit pragmatic. It is what it is. You just have to deal with it and sit here and answer the questions in the best possible way I can answer them. And I just get completely reminded that is a very, very good idea. I read nothing because there's 1,000 articles out there, there's 1,000 podcasts, there's thousands social media experts, and everyone have an opinion. And if I read all of them, I'll probably be more irritated than not. So it's better just to get the questions here and the odd one, get the reminder before from Anthony, and then take from there.
Did you anticipate it might get like this quite quickly if results didn't go your way, given what happened last season, the number of home defeats, etc.?
Yeah, I expected that we will have a bad spell at some point, and then there will be a lot of talks, of course.